All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with some more geography now. So, of course, I've been having a very good time with these videos. Of course, the official video, the link will be in the description so you can go check it out. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got Poland here today. I believe is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. We've dealt with a couple of Poland videos, and I must say, you guys are amazing. So, let's not waste time. Let's hop right in.
All right, we've reached Poland. Europe's, how can I put this? Poland knows how to take a hit. It's like... Is that all you got? I'm not even breaking a sweat,
It's time to learn geography.
Nice start.
By the way, this is my buddy Art. He's half Polish. Art, do you know anything about Poland?
I know nothing about Poland, but I know my last name means on Friday.
So anyway, I have another Polish friend named Conrad who's actually also going to be in this episode. He's Polish and he speaks Polish.
Hey, that guy.
Well, Art can also play Poland in the skits and stuff in this episode. Is that cool?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, cool. Anyway, hey everybody, I'm your host Barbs. Welcome to the Wolverine of Europe. The Poles know how to deal with calamity, and if there was ever a mutant apocalypse, you would probably want one on your team. In any case, let's begin.
Interesting.
How to piss off a Polish person 101.
Why we
Oh
start-
man, I just visited Poland. I sure loved that Eastern European country. It's Central European. Yeah, they don't like being called Eastern Europe, even though, I mean, come on, they're kind of more on the eastern side of the continent, and it's, okay, Central European, Central. The country is located...
Now, I don't know anything about this here, so I'm just going to take his word for it. You guys let me know.
on the eastern side of the continent, and it's, okay, Central European, Central. The country is located in Central Europe and bordered by 7 other countries. Keep in mind, this little guy right here is a detached exclave of Russia called Kaliningrad. Speaking of which, we already mentioned this in the Germany episode, but Poland shares an island called Usedom, or Uznam, with Germany in this lagoon. The borders follow some natural boundaries like rivers and mountains. However, most of them were agreed upon after war times. The country is divided into 16 voivodeships, or provinces, the capital and largest city of the country, Warsaw, in the center. It also holds the busiest airport, Warsaw International. From there, the second largest city is Krakow, known as the medieval capital, down south, and it holds the second largest airport, John Paul II Krakow International. And rounding out for third place is the city of Łódź, which means boat, nearly in the center of the whole country. Nonetheless, the city of Gdansk holds the third largest airport, Gdansk International, and also the busiest shipping port located on the Baltic Sea, where much of the cargo comes into the country. Otherwise, their entire sea access is confined to the coastline. They do not own any distant islands in the Baltic. Due to the general flat landscape making much of the north and central parts, Poland is a bustling transport hub with numerous roadways that traverse every single corner into every neighboring nation. Since joining the EU, nearly 2 billion euros have been invested in Poland's rail lines, and high-speed lines are being constructed today. Poland doesn't have any autonomous areas, but if we had to discuss historical and cultural regions, many people may just refer to this general area as Masuria, sometimes even historical Prussia. This general area is Pomerania. That's right, same as the dog, which is where it comes from. And the coastal area is Kashubia, where the Kashubians are mostly found. There's Greater Poland, Lesser Poland, which at the very border has Ruthenia, or Red Ruthenia. Parts of the south are considered Silesia, which are inhabited by peoples that have their own distinct culture apart from the Polish. It's all kind of confusing, and we'll talk more about it later. One thing you have to understand is that historically, Poland had a lot of different types of administrative divisions, and much of it was shaped by war. Sometimes they had more land, other times they had less, and for 123 years, they kind of disappeared altogether. Here's Prussia! Austria! Well, actually, they almost completely disappeared. I mean, Krakow was technically a free city-state for about 30 years. And keep in mind, we mentioned this in the Lithuania episode, but if you want to be incredibly technical, historically, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth had some colonies. Way back yeehaw, when they thought one island in the Gambia, as well as Trinidad and Tobago, would be good overseas investments, making them the only sites that the Polish had colonized outside of Europe.
Then what happened?
In the end, it was too hard for them to manage, and they sold them off. The end. So anyway, here's some places of interest you guys, the Polish geography, suggested we mention this episode. They have quite a few UNESCO heritage sites. A lot of them are like chapels, the Holy Mountain of Gabarka, the painted village of Zalipy, Chopin's Heart, this rock city, the Upside Down House, Kościuszko Mound, the Carrot House, the world's most narrow house.
Wait. Did he say upside? No, that is cool. That is cool. I'm just gonna say that is really cool. Again, guys, there's so much history from all of these countries, and excuse me if I, may seem dumb. I'm learning, just like a new person, right? But it feels very relaxing watching this, and the way they're presenting it, it's got humor. Anybody can understand it. But again, this is really, really cool. Again, speaking about, world's largest, world's biggest, and it's really mind-blowing. I don't know about this, but let's go.
Polish geography suggested we mention this episode. They have quite a few UNESCO heritage sites. A lot of them are like chapels. The Holy Mountain of Gabarka, the painted village of Zalipe, Chopin's Heart, this rock city, the Upside Down House, Kościuszko Mound, the Carrot House, the world's most narrow house. Tons of cool statues and monuments like these. The world's tallest Pope statue. Tons of World War II sites. It's kind of what they're known for. With the most famous one probably being the Auschwitz concentration camp. Of course, there are way too many churches like these. This one was where all the former kings were coronated. And of course, there's Warsaw's St. John's Cathedral. There's a bunch of synagogues that actually survived World War II. And there's even a wooden mosque for the Tatar minority in Kruszyniany. There's so many museums and galleries. Here's a bunch of notable ones. And too many castles, but they're very proud of having the world's largest medieval castle in Malbork. Yeah,
really?
Poland does not fall short when it comes to sights to see, or things to do, or nature to explore. And that means we move on to the next segment.
Must be pretty amazing, traveling to this country. There's so much to see, and of course, if there's so much to see, there's so much to do. Let's go.
And that means we move on to the next segment. It is said that the name Poland comes from Polani, which means people living in open fields. Poland is not all flat and not all plains. There's much more to it than you think. Poland is generally divided into 5 physical regions: the coast, the lakelands, the Polish plain, the Polish uplands, and the mountain regions. Much of Poland's coast along the Baltic Sea is straight until you hit the east and you get these interesting natural formations called spits. We've already talked about them in the Lithuania episode, but basically, spits are thin, narrow sandbanks that divide the sea from another body of water, creating saltwater lagoons, the largest one being the Bay of Puck, the Szczecin, and the Vistula Lagoon, shared with Russia's Kaliningrad exclave. Much of the country inland lies on the flat Polish plain, part of the greater North European plain, a huge open flat segment of Central Europe that extends across multiple countries. Many people say that this is both the blessing and curse of Poland, because although a third of the country is forested, this one being the largest national park, and about a third is arable, making them a powerhouse contributor to Europe's agriculture sector, it did kind of make it easy for outside forces to enter and invade, with little or no natural obstacles barricading the interior of the country. Anyway, within this plain, many rivers like the Notek, the Varta, and the longest river, the Vistula, meander through the fertile valleys, passing through many important cities like Warsaw. In the north side, you have 2 massive lake districts, the Pomeranian and the larger Masurian, which also holds the largest lake of the country, Lake Śniadwy. The further south you go, the higher the elevation gets until you hit the Poland uplands. A little further south on the border with the Czech Republic and Slovakia, you find the 2 main and largest mountain chains, the Sudets and the Beskids, which form the north part of the larger famous Carpathian mountain chain. Here you can also find the tallest peak, Mount Rysy, right on the border of Slovakia. All right, and that just about does it. Now I need my triple shot of espresso break, and this time Arvin's gonna come in to finish off the physical geography section.
What do you want me to say, Barbie?
The next thing on the teleprompter.
Now, as you can see by this point, Poland has a lot more than just flat plains and lakes.
Yeah,
they even
absolutely.
have moving sand dunes in the north and a small desert in Boyenduf, which literally translates to mistakes. Yeah. Poland, deserts. You never think those two would go together, right? Oh, and there's also a crooked forest made up of trees that bend at a 90-degree angle. Many people have theories as to how it got that way. Some say it's natural. Some say it was a dude trying to make chairs. In any case, Poland is a major producer of apples, 6th in the world.
Hold on, no, this is pretty interesting. The tree part. Again, I noticed that this video has been there for some time. Not sure if these things are still there and these things are still like legit. But again, this is very interesting. I would love to, go to see how these trees are. Like, I can see it, but I can't really believe it. I'm sorry. But yeah, but I how to say this, I kind of envy a lot of you to, can travel anywhere, anytime you want. That's, pretty cool. Hey, let me know.
Oh, and there's also a crooked forest made up of trees that bend at a 90-degree angle. Many people have theories as to how it got that way. Some say it's natural. Some say it was a dude trying to make chairs. In any case, Poland is a major producer of apples, 6th in the world, as well as being the world's largest treacle. What the heck is treacle? And
what is
amber exporter. I don't even know what amber is either. What is that? Petrified tree sap?
It actually is.
It is. Whoa. Today, though, Poland's economy is now mainly driven by the service sector. sector and industry with main products like machinery and cars, buses, and video games being their largest export. Anyway, Poland also has quite a few endemic animal species like storks, Eurasian lynx, roe deer, and they have one of the largest populations of the rare European bison, which, have you guys ever had a bison burger? I mean, that's like really good. All right, don't eat those. Those are endangered. And bears. In fact, a bear once served in the Polish army, and there's a statue dedicated to him. Look it up. Good old Wojtek. Anyway, time to finish up with
That's pretty
food.
cool.
Some of the top Polish dishes. You guys, the Polish geography peeps.
That's what I call them, Art.
Suggested we mention include things like bigos, cabbage rolls, galanka pork knuckle, roasted duck served with honey and apples. So many soups like these. But the national dish being sour rye soup. And of course, the most popular dishes many people have heard of. Pierogi, kielbasa,
I've heard
kabanos,
that.
and Krakow-style sausage. And bagels. Yes, bagels originated from Poland, from the Polish Jews. Not New York.
But they did move to New York.
Oh, and of course, you cannot talk about Poland without mentioning vodka. Some say it was invented in Poland, some say the Polish just make really good vodka, but either way, vodka usually takes up a huge section in most Polish grocery stores.
Damn.
I've seen this guy on vodka.
No, you haven't. That was Knob Creek whiskey, and we don't talk about that here.
Polish people know what they like. They're a distinct people. Speaking of which, we now move on to...
Damn.
Thank you, Art.
I like the way they see this guy is pretty cool. This entire thing is just amazing. They pick the right people, with the right amount of energy. But hey, it's not about this. It's about, the information that has been given. And again, it's quite simple to understand. And it's really mind-blowing if all these, things that are in a lot of these countries. Let's continue.
Which we now move on to...
Thank you, Art.
Thanks. Can I do like one of those special effect outros, like, Wolverine theme? Can I have the claws or something like that?
Sure, yeah, go for it. Here.
Okay. Is it true if I kill you, I become you?
Let's find out. Ooh, it does work. Now, some of you guys have told me, in Poland, there's kind of like a word that sums up the Polish mindset. Załatwić. It means something along the lines of accomplishing tasks and taking care of business. Half of everybody in Europe has probably at one point at least encountered a Pole. They're everywhere, working. Polish doctors in Germany, Polish contract workers in London, Polish bus drivers in Iceland. Work is in their blood, and it's a huge part of who they are. The population is about 40 million. However, keep in mind, diaspora-wise, there are about 20 million Poles living abroad, and they are the second largest Slavic group after Russians. The country is incredibly homogenous, with about 96% of the population claiming to be Polish, which is part of the Slavic family group. This makeup is mostly due to the Nazi intervention of World War II and Soviet relocation policies of the 20th century that drastically changed the previously diverse population. The country has few minority groups. However, of the minorities, the largest groups would be the Silesian at about 1.3% and the Kashubians at just under 1%. The rest is mostly made up of other Europeans like Ukrainians, Belarusians, Czechs, and non-Europeans. They use the Polish zloty as their currency, they use the type C, E, and F plug outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Now, of course, the main language of Poland is, of course, Polish. Lots of people say Polish is, like, really hard to learn. For one, they have 7 cases of speech and too many consonants that are smashed all together at once. Geography Pavel says the Polish language is basically just spoken Wi-Fi passwords. Here's Conrad with a Polish tongue twister.
Chrząszcz brzmi trzcinie w Szczebrzeszynie i Szczebrzeszyn z tego słynie.
Sometimes even the Polish people say they have to polish up on their Polish. Otherwise, Poland is kind of a sociological anomaly. Even though they are Slavic, it's kind of like the easternmost extent of Latin influence, which explains why the majority at around 86% identify as either Catholic or, in the very least, nominally Catholic, varying degrees of devotion. Catholicism plays a huge role in Polish culture. They even have a channel dedicated to the Pope on TV. Politically, Poland is usually a more conservative nation that holds to its roots, and even though they're part of the EU, they usually do not let anyone tell them how they should run things in their own country. It's their home, their rules. It's like, all right, so it's settled. What do you think of this proposal for the union, guys?
I hate it.
Now, Poland, you're a key player. We need you to like this.
I still hate it.
Come on, Poland. Don't be stubborn.
Oh, really, Germany? You want to come back to Poland again and tell us how to do things around here?
Oh,
do you remember
my.
what happened last time?
Oh my. Are you really gonna play this card again?
I always will.
Little exaggerated, but yeah, don't push the Polish. They've gone through tons of that. I mean,
my.
literally like a fifth of their population died during World War II, the majority of whom were Polish Jews. Often in tight-knit Yiddish-speaking communities, Poland had one of the highest populations of Jews prior to World War II, and at one point up to 10%. They played a huge historical role in what Poland was and would be. Poles are proud that they were the only European-occupied country to never collaborate with the Nazis. They never officially surrendered, and all those years the Nazis were there, the underground army kept fighting. Poles have an incredibly complex history. I mean, they had a weird electoral monarchy thing. Conrad, explain.
So the royal elections of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth became a thing after the death of the last Jagiellonian on the Polish throne. And at his death, it was decided that there would not be a royal dynasty that would just continue from generation to generation. That is to say that they would elect a king from a royal dynasty in Europe, but after his death, they would once again elect another monarch instead of letting his children take over the Polish throne.
Thank you, Conrad. Taking all that heavy stuff in, Polish people have told me there's always kind of like this sense of
Oh my, and I've said this before, ladies and gentlemen. I find people from Poland are very like proud individuals. Like I've said, we've done a video based off on Poland, and the comment section was filled with a lot of beautiful people, and they weren't very like they weren't mean to me. Maybe some were, but generally I feel like, of course, some may say, "Hey, this is online and real life is a different thing." Okay, fine, but again, watching this, I really feel at ease for some reason. But again, this is some really nice information.
Taking all that heavy stuff in, Polish people have told me there's always kind of like this sense of somber, stoic, suspicious, cynical, yet productive and prudent mentality that encapsulates the Polish. It's a weird paradox when you see them, because it's like...
Ugh, being Polish is the worst. Seriously.
I know, right? I hate Polish sausages. They're so gross.
They are, and the government is just totally whack.
Yeah, Poland is terrible.
What did you say?
You can't say that. You're not from here.
Yeah.
Well, that took a little longer than expected, so here's Hannah with culture stuff.
Good to be back. Polish people have gone through a lot. They were pretty much fought for and invaded over 40 times for about 400 years. Nonetheless, the Polish people held through those centuries and retained their sense of identity. For one, in Poland, it is actually just as popular, if not maybe even more, to celebrate one's name day as well as your
Name
birthday.
day.
Poland has quite a high level of tertiary educated individuals, with about 80% of the young adult population having enrolled in university. Also, side note,
wow.
that 35% of Polish people living abroad are referred to as Polonia. There's a contest where we figure out who is the strongest man in the world, and Poland has won the most of those contests.
Oh,
Then we have
Pujanowski.
the Silesian.
Hold on, I remember this guy. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I'm very young. I remember watching watching this. It was a ton of fun. So yeah, I didn't know he was from Poland, but damn, that's amazing.
And Poland
Amazing
has
guy.
won the most of those contests. Then we have the Silesian and Kashubian minorities. Let's let Conrad explain this one because, it's a little complex.
The Silesians, who live for the most part today in Upper Silesia, are an ethnographic group with a distinctive dialect of Polish. Internationally, though, it's considered not as a nation or people, though some within the region consider themselves as a nation, which the Kashubians are, and they are considered as a West Slavic people separate from the Polish people. They are loyal towards Poland, but they have their own recognized minority status, they have their own traditions, they have their own cuisine, and they have their own language. There are even bilingual signs, which Paul will definitely put in now.
Thank you, Conrad. They've also racked up quite a few Nobel Peace Prizes at 17. They are frontrunners of innovations and inventions like kerosene and the kerosene lamp, the oil
We dealt
well,
with
the
that.
bulletproof vest, and the modern drug test. A lot of festivals can be found year-round throughout the
last part.
country and in different regions. Popular ones include All Saints' Day, May Day, the La Cognac Festival in Krakow, and during Christmas you might see the creepy Turon everywhere. To expound a bit more on
goodness.
Polish music and arts, here, is Keith, or whatever.
Music in Poland goes way back to its ancient Slavic roots. Instruments typically used include things like the wood horn, the hurdy-gurdy, the horse hair drum, the pedal accordion, and the suka.
What you call me?
Even though he had spent most of his time in France, Chopin was born in Poland. His homeland was
Oh.
always one of the central themes to his often
I didn't know
somber
this.
and melancholy masterpieces cherished worldwide. During the Polish national revival, this dude, this dude collected varieties of folk music for broadcast, including the most famous ones, these which are still performed to this day. I know that there's this guitar player named Jakub Zicecki, and he is amazing.
Thank you, Keith.
Guys, I really didn't know the classical player was from Poland. That's pretty amazing. I've listened to a ton of his music. I think everyone have listened to Chopin at some point in time in their life, and very relaxing. And I'm just saying, it removes the stress. Of course, that's all I'm gonna say.
And he is amazing.
Thank you, Keith. And now the most complicated part, history. In the quickest way I can condense it, Slavic tribes and states in the Vistula Basin, Piast Dynasty, Greater Poland, Christianity and tribal unification, Pomerania is annexed, this dude becomes the first king, feudal disintegration, Mongols invade, Czechs invade, Teutonic Knights invade, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, Swedes invade, Prussians invade, end of the Commonwealth, Constitution written, Napoleonic Wars, Kingdom of Poland and Free State of Krakow, Russian partitions and Russian Poland, World War I, Polish-Soviet War, independence from Russia, Germany invades, World War II begins, communism years, independence, weird West Germany stuff, some other interesting things like they got a Pope and a Nobel Peace Prize, first fully free elections, they joined NATO and the EU, and here we are today. Some people you guys, the Polish geography suggested we mentioned in this episode include all those dukes and kings, pretty much any hero that fought with the winged hussars, Copernicus, although he was technically German, Marie Curie was actually Polish, Mikołaj Rai, Pope John Paul II, all these athletes, these directors, all these artists and musicians, the dude from the movie The Pianist was a real guy, these American revolutionaries, and speaking of Americans, John Krasinski, Kristen Bell, Steve Carell, and Roman Polanski are also part Polish. Apple co-founder
I didn't know
Steve
that.
Wozniak, and finally, of course, Grzegorz Bręczyszewski. And there's a lot more I could have mentioned, but that would take way too long. There's a lot of famous Poles all over the world. They've left their global mark. And speaking of global marks, that brings us to...
Hope you guys are...
As a central player in Europe for a long, complicated history, it's no surprise Poland has picked up quite an entourage over many, many years of Polish existence. For one, as part of the Visegrad group, the Czechs and Slovaks are generally considered the close West Slavic brothers. They've had very few wars and conflicts with them. They understand their languages, kind of. However, they both kind of think the other sounds funny when they talk. For Russians, it's more of like a people versus government thing. As people, Poles and Russians get along quite well on a human level. It's just the governments that often disagree and clash. Poland for a while was under the Iron Curtain and Warsaw Pact, which complicated things even more. But as crazy as things get, there is always kind of like this universal Slavic understanding, which is why Ukraine comes in as a pretty close friend. Ukrainians love to come to Poland for work. There is also a fast-growing Ukrainian community, and they kind of share a similar post-communist struggle alliance, although they still kind of don't like how Ukrainians honor the UPA, which is a whole other story. Poland is kind of like Germany's biggest regret that they have to constantly be reminded of literally every day as they are neighbors, but they are the largest economic partner for them as well. Germany does have many bilateral relations with Poland. It's the 21st century, people have grown up and moved on, and the future looks bright mostly between the two. Quick note, Lithuania is like the divorced wife that they remember having some of the best years of their history with. Today, when a Pole meets a Lithuanian, they just kind of nod and smile, understanding everything the other is thinking without a single word. Their best friend, however, every Pole has told me the same thing, Hungary. Historically, they've shared some of the same monarchs, heroes. They've always helped each other in times of need. There are many parks and monuments commemorating the friendship between the two. There's even a saying in Polish, two brothers, both to the saber and the bottle. In conclusion, let's give this to Conrad. Conrad, what do you have to say?
Poland is a country that has a lot to offer both geographically and has been through pretty much everything historically. It's been an empire, it's been completely erased from the map, and today Poland is a growing and thriving country. I'm sure that the role of Poland on the European scene will only grow.
Thank you, Conrad, and thank you, Art, for being in this episode.
Stay tuned. Portugal is coming up next, guys.
Wow, what a great video once again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm having a lot of fun taking a look at the history of a lot of these countries. And the thing about watching all this, if it's not at the end, they always include that they have some kind of strong bonding with another country in terms of like they mentioned Hungary. Of course there are others, but it's just very nice knowing that some people that don't fight and destroy each other. If you guys look at me, you know what exactly I'm talking about. My people have a way of always hurting each other and hurting others for no reason. I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't say this, but again, that's why it may seem cringe me watching this, and I know, maybe, just maybe, I have to say this, my people just fight and kill each other every day. But it's nice, you know, to watch something like this and just really see the history and even history about, you know, helping one another. And that's really nice. Really, really nice. Again, I wish I could be that kind of person to just travel, just experience a lot of the different cultures there are in the world. I feel like that is just a dream come true, I think, for a lot of people like me. Of course, I don't think it's ever going to happen, but but again, for those that do this, hey, you got something special, yeah? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a pretty fantastic video, I have to say. Polish individuals are, let me say, very strong and proud. And it's very nice to see this. Your country has a lot to offer and just a lot of beautiful things. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.